Your sister's housewarming party was so lovely, my mom said, smiling as she sipped her tea at my tiny kitchen table. When are you going to catch up? I swear to you, I felt something inside my chest physically crack. Catch up? With what? With the 3-bedroom house in the suburbs? With the brand new SUV parked in the driveway? With the husband who made 6 figures and handed her flowers at the door like they were in some romantic comedy? Tell me honestly, if you were sitting there, in your cramped 1-bedroom apartment with secondhand furniture and a sink that leaked every other week, and your own mother said that to you, would you have kept your mouth shut? Or would you have finally said what you'd been holding in for years? Because I didn't keep quiet. And the fallout changed my family forever. Let me back up, because this didn't start with a housewarming party. It started way before that. It started the day my sister Emily was born. I was 5 years old, and I remember everyone in the hospital room cooing over her like she was some kind of miracle. My mom used to tell me I was her little star, but the moment Emily arrived, the spotlight shifted. And I don't mean in the normal older sibling jealousy way. I mean everything became about her ballet recitals, her perfect grades, her shiny brown curls that strangers would stop us in grocery stores to compliment. I was the quiet one, the responsible one, the one who didn't cause trouble. I got decent grades, not straight A's like Emily, but I tried. I helped with chores. I worked part-time in high school. But when report cards came in, my parents would say, "That's good," to me. Then they'd turn to Emily and say, "Outstanding," like she'd just won a Nobel Prize. By the time we were adults, the gap between us felt like a canyon. Emily got a scholarship to a prestigious university. I went to a local state college and worked 2 jobs to pay for it. She met Daniel there, tall, confident, studying finance. My parents loved him instantly. I remember the first time he came to dinner. My dad pulled out the expensive steak he usually saved for special occasions. My mom used the good plates. I had brought boyfriends home before, and they got polite smiles and store-brand soda. After college, I moved back home for a year to save money. Emily moved straight into an apartment with Daniel in the city. Within 3 years, they were engaged. My mom cried when Daniel proposed. She told everyone at church. She showed off the ring like it was her own. I was happy for her, I really was. But I couldn't ignore the tiny voice in my head that kept asking why everything she did felt like a family event, while my milestones barely registered. Fast forward a few years. I'm 29, working as a marketing assistant at a small firm. It's not glamorous, but I pay my bills. I don't have debt. I live modestly. Meanwhile, Emily and Daniel are thriving. He climbs the corporate ladder. She starts a lifestyle blog that actually takes off. They post pictures of vacations in Italy, weekend getaways in Napa, smiling selfies in matching outfits. Every family gathering turns into a slideshow of their success. Then came the house. A beautiful 2-story home in a newly developed neighborhood with tree-lined streets and white picket fences. My mom sent me the listing before they even closed. "Can you believe this?" she texted. "Your sister did so well." The housewarming party was a month later. I almost didn't go. I told myself I was busy, that I had a headache, but I went anyway, because that's what you do for family. The moment I walked in, I felt underdressed in my simple black dress from 3 seasons ago. The place smelled like fresh paint and expensive candles. There were catered hors d'oeuvres. A bartender, Emily, floated around in a cream-colored jumpsuit, laughing, hugging people, giving tours like she was hosting an HGTV special. "Isn't it stunning?" my mom whispered to me as we stood in the kitchen with marble countertops. "They've worked so hard." Worked so hard. I smiled and nodded, but my stomach twisted. I'd worked hard, too. I'd pulled 60-hour weeks. I'd skipped vacations. I'd cried over spreadsheets at midnight. But hard work apparently only counted if it came with a designer backsplash. At one point, I overheard my aunt say, "Now this is success." She didn't see me standing there. Or maybe she did. After the party, I went home and cried in my car before going upstairs. I felt small, invisible, like the supporting character in my own family. And then, a week later, my mom came over to my apartment. She brought leftover cake from the party. She looked around at my place, the chipped coffee table, the tiny balcony overlooking a parking lot. And that's when she said it. "Your sister's housewarming party was so lovely. When are you going to catch up?" It wasn't even said cruelly. That's what hurt the most. It was casual, like she was asking when I'd get a haircut. I stared at her. "Catch up?" I repeated. "Well," she said gently, "you're almost 30. Don't you want more?" More. I felt years of swallowed comments, forced smiles, and polite congratulations rise up my throat. "So what, Mom? You think I'm behind?" She sighed like I was being dramatic. "No, sweetheart, not behind, just your sister has accomplished so much. I want that for you too." And that's when something in me snapped. I asked her, "Did you ever want what I wanted?" She looked confused. "Of course." "No," I said. "You wanted Emily's life for me, not mine." The room went quiet. She looked hurt. I felt guilty instantly, but also relieved. For the first time, I wasn't shrinking myself to make everyone comfortable. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying her words. Catch up. Like life was a race. Like there was one finish line and Emily was already popping champagne while I was still tying my shoes. So here's where I need you to be honest with me. If you spent your entire life feeling second, best in your own family, and then you were told, again, that you weren't measuring up, what would you do? Would you push yourself harder to prove them wrong? Or would you finally stop playing the game? Because I had a choice. And before I tell you what I did, I want you to pause and think about it. Seriously. Comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you chase the bigger house? The flashier life just to silence the comparisons? Or would you confront the people making you feel small? I chose confrontation. The next Sunday, I invited my parents and Emily over to my apartment. I didn't tell them why. I just said I wanted dinner together. Emily showed up in yoga pants and a cropped sweater that probably cost more than my monthly groceries. Daniel couldn't make it. Work thing, of course. We sat around my small table. 4 people, knees practically touching. I could see my mom glancing around again, like she was mentally redecorating the place. Halfway through dinner, I put my fork down. My hands were shaking. "I need to say something," I said. Emily raised an eyebrow. "Okay." I looked at my mom first. "When you asked me when I was going to catch up, what exactly am I catching up to?" Silence. My dad cleared his throat. "I didn't mean anything by it," my mom said quickly. "But you did," I replied. "You always do." Emily's face hardened. "What is that supposed to mean?" And then it all poured out. Years of feeling compared, of being the other daughter, of milestones overlooked. I told them how small I felt at the party, how tired I was of success being defined by square footage and social media likes. Emily crossed her arms. "So you're jealous." That word stung, jealous. "I'm hurt," I said. "There's a difference." She laughed softly. "You think everything was handed to me? Daniel and I worked for that house." "I know you did," I said. "I'm not saying you didn't. I'm saying, I'm tired of being measured against you." My dad finally spoke. "No one is measuring you." "Yes, you are," I said. "Every time you praise her achievements and barely acknowledge mine. Every time you talk about her life like it's the gold standard." My mom started crying. Emily looked angry. The dinner ended awkwardly. No hugs, no promises to do better. Just tension hanging in the air. For a week, no one called me. It was quiet. Painfully quiet. I started wondering if I'd made a mistake. Maybe I should have just smiled and tried harder to catch up. But then something unexpected happened. Emily called. She sounded different, quieter. "I've been thinking," she said, "about what you said." I braced myself. "I didn't realize you felt that way," she admitted. "I guess I've always felt pressure too." "Pressure? From what?" "From being the perfect one," she said. "If I mess up, it feels like I'll disappoint everyone." That was the first time I'd ever heard vulnerability in her voice. She told me she'd been overwhelmed with the mortgage, that her blog wasn't doing as well as it looked online, that Daniel was stressed about work. The shiny life wasn't as shiny as it seemed. We talked for hours, really talked. For the first time, it felt like we were sisters, not competitors in some unspoken contest. My mom called a few days later. She apologized. A real apology. She admitted she'd projected her own insecurities onto us. She grew up with nothing, and to her, a big house meant safety, stability, success. She thought she was motivating me, not hurting me. It didn't fix everything overnight, but it cracked something open. I didn't catch up. I didn't suddenly buy a house or get married or double my salary. What I did do was start defining success for myself. I applied for a promotion I'd been too scared to chase. I started saving for a condo, not because I needed to compete, but because I wanted a place that felt like mine. I stopped comparing my behind the scenes to Emily's highlight reel. And you know what? A year later, when I hosted my own small housewarming, yes, I bought a modest condo. My mom didn't ask when I'd catch up. She walked in, looked around and said, "I'm proud of you." Not because it was bigger or better, but because it was mine. Looking back, I realized something important. The real competition was never with my sister. It was with the version of myself that believed I wasn't enough. The moment I stopped trying to win a race I never signed up for, I started actually living. So tell me, was I wrong for calling them out? Was I too sensitive? Or did I finally stand up for myself the way I should have years ago? If you were on my side like this video, if you think I overreacted, I want to hear that too. And if you've ever felt like the less successful sibling, share your story in the comments. You're not alone. Don't forget to subscribe for more real, messy, complicated stories like this. Trust me, families are full of them. And I'll see you all in the next story.